Black's Law, 3rd edition. Bondage is slavery. It's involuntary personal servitude, captivity. Involuntary personal servitude, this means that you are serving and performing work for another, without your consent, without your approval. This is a situation that many individuals in Canada are operating under. We are subjects and servants of Her Majesty. We are so young and innocent. We have no cares and no concerns at this point. We are also free. We have not been brought into involuntary servitude just yet. But wait, that time is coming soon. We are all born with natural rights. These rights are present with us from the first time we take our first breath. Many of these natural rights are recognized and protected. One such right is that every human being is born free.
Universal Declaration on Human Rights, Article 1. All human beings are born free. All human beings are born free.
Black Laws, the 3rd edition. Free, not subject to legal constraints of another. Unconstrained, having power to follow the dictates of his own will. Not subject to the dominion of another. Not compelled to involuntary servitude, used in this sense as opposed to slave. Natural law was intended to denote a system of rules and principles for the guidance of human conduct, which, independently of enacted law or of the systems peculiar to any one people, might be discovered by the rational intelligence of man, and would be found to grow out of and conform to his nature, meaning by that word his whole mental, moral, and physical constitution. So natural law is a set or a system of rules and principles which have been established or recognized for the guidance of human conduct. Now, these rules, these principles are in operation independently of any one particular system. This natural law, this natural right, it exists apart or independent from any other laws that are in operation. And this natural law, this natural right, allows a human being to be born free and to have the capacity to remain free. Freedom is not to be placed in involuntary servitude, not to be held to the will of another. This is a right that we all possess and that we all can stand under. Men, through the generations, decided that this was a natural right that all human beings would be extended. Now, we have countries who erect laws, create laws, and want to remove this natural right from us, and want to force us to be in servitude, either to a political party or to a sovereign. However, these actions, those actions that the country is taking by creating such laws, go against the principles of natural law and natural rights. Black Laws, the 5th edition. Natural rights, those which grow out of nature of man and depend upon his personality and are distinguished from those which are created by positive laws enacted by a duly constituted government to create an orderly, civilized society. The government creates, enacts laws with the purpose of creating an orderly, civilized society. However, we have individual, natural human rights that are separate and distinct from these created laws that the government brings to force. And these natural rights cannot be removed by these created laws which the government gives force of law. Our natural rights are part of who we are, and it takes our consent, it takes our will to say yes in order to give up our natural rights. A human being has a natural right to be free from involuntary servitude, but a Canadian citizen does not. When you look at the oath or affirmation of citizenship here in Canada, you find that an individual, that human being, must state the following: I swear or affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance. Now notice that, true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Canada, her heirs and successors, and that I will faithfully observe the laws of Canada and fulfill my duties as a Canadian citizen. The country of Canada has used positive laws. They have created an enactment which is titled or designated the Citizenship Act. And within that enactment, they are causing human beings, individuals, to give up a natural right without even telling them that they are giving up a natural right. That natural right to be free and to remain free from involuntary servitude is being pushed aside, is being taken away from individuals as they pledge their allegiance to Her Majesty the Queen, and in so doing so, becoming her subject and being held in servitude. We're looking into Black Laws, the third edition now. The word allegiance. It states that allegiance is the obligation of fidelity and obedience which the individual owes to the government under which he lives, or to his sovereign. The citizen or subject owes an absolute and permanent allegiance to his government or sovereign, or at least until, by some open and distinct act, he or she renounces it. Allegiance denotes or brings forth the action of obedience. You surrender your will to the will of another. Now, they promise here in Canada that if you surrender your will, if you pledge your allegiance to Her Majesty the Queen, then she will protect you. She will offer you privileges and benefits of a system that they have created in turn for your allegiance. However, what they don't tell you is that the system that they've created has stripped you of most of your natural fundamental rights. And the system they created is causing you to live under the freedoms that you are guaranteed under natural law. The natural right that we have to be free from servitude is a recognized right that Canada is obligated to respect and protect. Yes, Canada can create, and indeed did create, a positive law through the Citizenship Enactment. And in that law, we can give away our fundamental right to freedom if we, as individuals, pledge allegiance to Her Majesty. However, we have a natural right that is internationally recognized and protected. This right is enumerated as follows. In the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, Article 8, no one shall be held in servitude. Canada is obligated to respect this individual human right that was created through natural law, through ground law. It is an obligation that rests upon Canada not to hold individuals in servitude to Her Majesty through forcing them to pledge allegiance to Her Majesty. In the Canadian Constitution Act of 1982, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, Article number 7. This ground right, this natural right, this fundamental law was preserved for us, for it states everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of the person, and the right not to be deprived thereof except in accordance with the principles of fundamental justice. So everyone has the right to liberty. You do not have to be held in servitude. You do not have to be held in allegiance to Her Majesty. This is a right that the Charter grants every individual here who is on Canada's territory.